London between the wars into the surrounding counties such as Middlesex, Essex, Kent and Surrey. You can see the brown expanding out, and that happened here at Highgate. All of the land between the Highgate village and the station here at Highgate was swallowed up by new housing. People wanted to move out of the Victorian housing in the city centre and get their semi-detached houses out here in the suburbs. But the population of London reached an all-time peak up until recently, actually, in 1939, of 8.6 million people. That was only just surpassed in the last couple of years. London's population is now around 8.8 million, 8.7, 8.8 million people. And so there'd been a decline in population after the war. Now, this population growth and growth of London put a strain on all the forms of public transport that were available. And so in 1933, a government body was formed to take control of the transport methods in London, and this was the London Passenger Transport Board. Now, they came up with a programme of works, and this was called the 1935 to 1940 New Works Programme. And this was a 35 to 40 million pound programme of works covering all forms of transport. That's probably £2 billion in today's money. And they came, can you stand where you're standing, that'd be great. And they came up with a plan to replace the trams with trolley buses, to reconstruct and modernise central London railway termini, and also to reconstruct, extend and electrify some of the steam railways and connect them up with the tube network. For example, extending the Central Line over existing Great Western Railway track out to West Ruislip, and an extension proposed out to Denham, and over Great Eastern Track up to Ongar and via Hainault to Woodford. They also proposed to extend the Bakerloo line. You can see these dotted lines as being under construction for authorised extensions. And up here in North London, in the Northern Heights, there was a very big plan to bring this steam railway, which was then owned by the London and North Eastern Railway. The railways had been consolidated in 1923 into the big four railway companies. And what the plan was up here in North London was to dig a tunnel from the Highgate station on the tube network through here to Highgate underneath the high level station and up to East Finchley, and then electrify the rest of the line up to Barnet and Edgware, so that the tube network could be expanded and run over those previously steam railways. They also proposed an extension out to Elstree and Bushy Heath from Edgware, and they were going to then electrify the steam railway, the LNER, from Finsbury Park up to Alexandra Palace through the high level station here, and connect it up with the Northern Line, the City Line, that was running from Moorgate to Drayton Park, so that tube trains could again run from Moorgate all the way up through this station to Alexandra Palace. And with this plan was known as the Northern Heights plan, after the range of hills up here in the Northern Heights. And you can see that Highgate was planned to become a very big interchange on an extended Northern Line in this new works proposals and this Northern Heights plan. And there was a number of pieces of work that had to be done to facilitate tube trains running on this railway. And one of those was to purchase new 1938 tube stock trains. My colleague Glenn, who was with me here yesterday, drove these trains and says these were the best trains he ever drove. I love the Art Deco cab on the front, very distinctive train. We've got a 4-car unit in the depot, and I believe it'll be out up on the northern ends of the Metropolitan line on September the 9th, so you may be able to get yourselves tickets if you want to travel on one of these vintage tube trains. They also had to electrify the tracks to make sure that these trains could be powered. And they also had to install London Underground signalling. And we can see a picture of the southern ends of the tunnels here in 1937 with the steam train going up to High Barnet. And they've already started installing the London Underground signalling here. We've got the relay boxes on the wall, but we haven't quite got the electrification, hasn't been quite completed yet. So they were starting to construct the Northern Heights plan, and they needed to construct an underground station here because they were extending the Charing Cross, Euston and Hampstead Railway through up to East Finchley. And so they employed the architect Charles Holden to design the station here. He is a celebrated architect. His designs are modernist with a hint of Art Deco. He had this mantra though that form must follow function. So we sometimes get very simple brick buildings with concrete roofs, just like we've got here, and very large windows. But I've got a plan over here of the station to show you, and he decided after a number of iterations to build the booking hall underneath the high-level station here at Highgate, and that is the booking hall that if you arrived on the tube today, you came up the escalators and through that booking hall up to the car park. It's a very detailed design. We're in the ticket hall, the waiting room here, but you can see where he's specified where the roundels are going, the maps and the posters, the litter bins, the communications, even what type of materials are going to be used on this design. The building we were at the top of the escalators with Audrey, that was a very simple brick structure. That dates from 1957. That's not the original building that was planned to be installed. This is the planned building of Holden's. It's going to have two escalators, so it would have been an entrance and an exit, and it was going to have this brick rotunda with a weather vane on the top depicting Dick Whittington and his cat. The legend goes that Dick Whittington got to Highgate and heard the sound of the Bow Bells calling him back to London to be mayor and to seek his fortune. There's a statue of Dick Whittington and his cat just down the Archway Road if you want to go and seek that out. But this is quite a good picture showing you the layout of the station with the steam trains running at the high level, and then steps down to the ticket hall and the escalator down to the what by 1937 had been renamed from the Morden Edgware line to the Northern line. Now, the New Works programme and the Northern Heights plan began. They started tunnelling from Archway Station with the new line, and they completed those tunnels between 1937 and 1939 to East Finchley, the summer of 1939. But then on the 3rd of September 1939, Britain declared war on Germany, and manpower and materials had to be diverted away to the war efforts. The New Works programme and the Northern Heights plan didn't immediately stop, but the work did slow down a little bit, and we'll be hearing at our next stop with Audrey about how the war affected the works on the Northern Heights here and on the rest of the New Works programme. But we're going to let you go outside and show you the northern end tunnels